In Jersey City, New Jersey, landlords are getting completely screwed when it comes to the rental assistance program due to local rules. I'm Tony, and this is Real Estate Investing and Landlord News. All right, so I have an interesting article for you today, and it's coming out of Jersey City, New Jersey. And as most people here know, New Jersey is one of the most tenant-friendly places in the entire country, and they put a lot of extra stipulations on the rental assistance so that landlords in particular would be screwed over by it. I don't know why they did this, but this rule here that they put in place, it really hurts a lot of landlords out there, especially small landlords. But before I get into the article, go ahead, hit the like and subscribe button, maybe leave a comment down below, and let me know exactly what you want to see on this channel. I'm going to work to keep bringing you articles about the eviction moratorium, rental assistance programs, rent control, anything that's of interest to landlords. So, the first article I have for you today comes from jcitytimes.com, and it says, Jersey City uniquely slow in distributing federal rental assistance. Jersey City has been uniquely slow in distributing money under a federally funded rental assistance program, according to an article published today in HuffPost. And I'm going to link to that article, or actually I'm going to go over that article a little bit later in this video. Jersey City offers a case study in why so much of the federal aid is still not getting to the people who need it, writes Washington Bureau Chief Amanda Turkle. According to the article, Jersey City denied 800 of approximately 1,100 applications for rental assistance, largely because the applicants did not live in owner-occupied buildings. So, wow. Okay, they only approved 300 of the 1,100 applications that were put in. So, yeah, what is that? Like 25%? They only approved, a little over 25% of the applications that were put in for rental assistance because the people who applied for it weren't living in owner-occupied buildings. So, from what I can tell, in Jersey City, in order to get the rental assistance, you have to be a landlord who actually lives in the property that you are a landlord over, and then rent out the other units. So let's say, for example, you own a duplex, right? You live in one unit and you rent out the other one. So in Jersey City, you have to actually live in that unit. In the rest of the country, you can be a landlord who, hey, I own one house and I live over here, but I rent out this duplex over here to two other tenants, and then you're still eligible for the rental assistance. But I think what they were trying to do was, hey, we're trying to stick it to these big out-of-state investors who are all up in here, not realizing that the majority of the people who are landlords are small mom-and-pop landlords who own one or two properties, and they might not be owner-occupied. So they were getting completely screwed over by this rule that was put in place in Jersey City. Adam Gordon, executive director at Fair Share Housing Center in New Jersey, told HuffPost that he wasn't aware of any program in New Jersey, including the one run by the state itself, that imposed that condition. As a result, as of September 9th, Jersey City had approved just 45 applications and handed out $450,000 out of the out of the 7.8 million provided by the federal government. The decision to restrict funding to individuals in owner-occupied buildings came from Mayor Fulop, according to a source who requested anonymity. So yeah, $450,000 out of $7.8 million that was allocated towards rental assistance. I mean, you do the math on that yourself, okay? We're talking an absolutely tiny percentage of that money has actually been distributed to the landlords who are suffering through this pandemic right now. And not only that, but the majority of the landlords who even put in for the rental assistance have been denied. Now, if you want to talk about an unconstitutional taking of property without just compensation, there you go, right there, okay? That is that right to the T. You know, the government takes your property away, tells you that you cannot evict during their eviction moratorium, which I believe New Jersey is still under a state eviction moratorium right now. And then they deny you for rental assistance because you don't live in the building. What kind of mess is this? Okay, what is going on up in New Jersey? Because that is absolutely insane. That doesn't even make any sense. I mean, anybody with any common sense or logic would look at that and be like, hey, you know, this isn't fair to the property owners. And, you know, they get it in their heads that, hey, you know, oh, we got to protect these tenants, but they don't put any common sense into mind of, well, somebody has to pay for these tenants to stay here. You know, so there's no such thing as a free ride. You know, it's not like the tenants get free housing. No, someone always has to pay. And in this case, it is the landlords who are paying. Mayoral spokesperson Kimberly Wallace Scalcione told HuffPost that the city wanted to first focus on buildings where the owner lives and relies on the rental income for sustaining their own home, as opposed to an owner who has multiple investment properties or is a larger developer in the city. Well, how do they know who? Okay, it says they wanted to focus on buildings where the owner lives and relies on the rental income for sustaining their own home. Well, all landlords who run a landlord business, regardless of whether they live in the property or not, rely on that rental income to run their own home. I mean, that is the reason that we are in the landlord business. It doesn't matter if it is some big property owner or not. Like I've told people before, they put these laws and these rules into place trying to hit these large corporate landlords, and what they end up doing is they punish the small mom and pop landlords who also have to follow all the same rules. And that is why I'm so against all of this stuff. So let's go over to the Huffington Post article, since it's referencing that article a lot in this one. And the Huffington Post article says, in Jersey City, federal rental aid slowly trickles out the door. So, President Joe Biden's administration has been trying to make it as easy as possible for cities and states to get federal rental aid to those who need it most. Officials have urged state and local governments to ditch excessive paperwork and take renters at their word that they're facing financial hardship, instead of making them compile documents of proof. Well, Joe Biden screwed up. Why is he asking take the renters at their word? What he should have said was, let's take the landlords at their word that these tenants that they say aren't paying are in need, and let's pay them directly. I mean, why is it so hard for them to figure this out? That's just so frustrating. But many places are still holding on to requirements that have slowed the pace of money getting out the door. According to the latest Treasury Department data of emergency rental assistance funds, 89% of the $46.5 billion available to states, cities, and counties had not been distributed through the end of July. At least 50 of those places had not sent out a single penny, according to a HuffPost analysis. Congress approved the money in December. Jersey City was one of the cities that had not yet sent out any money. Its program did not get up and running until August 17th, far later than the program in the county and state. And even now, in mid-September, money is just trickling out the door. Jersey City offers a case study on why so much of the federal aid is still not getting to the people who need it. And keep in mind, the people who need it are the landlords, okay? And Jersey City is one of the worst offenders that I have read about in any of these articles in terms of actually distributing the rental assistance money, okay? So putting an extra rule on there that restricts who can actually get the money is basically going to lead to tons of evictions of tenants. But I guess they're not worried about that because there's still the state eviction moratorium in place. They're not worried about the fact that landlords are literally going bankrupt. They're not worried about the fact that landlords' credit is being ruined, that their properties are facing foreclosure. Okay, they're not worried about that. They don't care. And I've gone over this before. Politicians only care about getting votes. They don't care about what's right. They don't care about what's lawful, even in many cases, as you can tell from Joe Biden's unconstitutional tried to extend the eviction moratorium. So, oh my. Jersey's holdup The Jersey City's holdup is not necessarily too much paperwork, but rather an unusual requirement. The program is restricting rental aid to people who live in owner-occupied buildings, where the landlord or owner lives in the building with 2 to 4 units. Jen Butler, spokesperson for the National Low-Income Housing Coalition, said she didn't believe that this was a common requirement. And Adam Gordon, executive director at Fair Share Housing Center in New Jersey, said he wasn't aware of any other program in New Jersey, including the run by the state itself, with that condition. And yeah, there's no precedent for this. Okay, so this mayor, is on a power trip. This mayor is trying to stick it to big landlords. It's more of a push towards, these more socialist policies. We're going to stick it to big business. We're going to hurt these big guys. We're going to make them pay, and when it comes down to it, the ones who suffer are always the small mom and pop landlords, okay? The person who owns one property, okay? They live in one building over here. They rent out this other one, and maybe it has 4, 5, 6 units in it, and they were depending on that income in order to actually pay their bills. They were depending on that income so that they could survive, and now they don't have that income due to the eviction moratorium. They can't get those bad tenants that aren't paying out, and the city itself is denying them rental assistance. So yeah, horrible situation going on up there in Jersey City. Let's hope that this kind of ridiculousness comes to an end as soon as possible.